What happens when Hollywood's golden couple starts losing everything? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, names that once lit up red carpets with charm and charisma, now find themselves tangled in a mess they might not escape. Their picture-perfect life, complete with blockbuster movies and A-list besties, is cracking under the weight of a scandal that's got everyone talking. And at the center of it all, Justin Baldoni, the underdog director who's somehow turning the tables on Tinseltown's royalty. This isn't just another celebrity spat, it's a full-on war, with lawsuits flying, reputations crumbling, and secrets spilling out faster than you can say Deadpool. For weeks, Lively and Reynolds have been scrambling to hold on to their golden image, but Baldoni's latest moves have them shaking. Insiders whisper they're in full panic mode, and honestly, it's hard to blame them. The guy they thought they could brush off is racking up wins left and right, leaving them exposed in ways they never saw coming. How did it get this bad? How did a romantic movie shoot spiral into a legal nightmare that's got Hollywood picking sides? And why are people starting to wonder if the couple's charm is just a mask for something uglier? This story's got twists that'll make your head spin. Accusations of harassment, shady evidence, and an SNL night no one will forget. Buckle up because we're diving into the chaos that's shaking up Blake, Ryan, and Justin's world. It's juicy, it's wild, and it's all unfolding right now. But the real story starts where the cameras stopped rolling. It was supposed to be a dreamy romance until it turned into a nightmare. Picture this. It Ends With Us, a movie that promised swoon-worthy moments and a big-screen love story, hits theaters in 2024. Blake Lively, the glamorous star with a knack for stealing hearts, steps into the lead role. Beside her is Justin Baldoni, the director and co-star who's been building his name in Hollywood with charm and grit. On paper, it's a match made in movie heaven. Two talents bringing Colleen Hoover's bestseller to life. Fans were buzzing, expecting magic, but behind the scenes, something dark was brewing. By December 2024, the fairy tale shattered when Lively dropped a bombshell. She filed a complaint with California's Civil Rights Department, claiming Baldoni didn't just cross lines, he smashed them. Sexual harassment, a hostile set, the kind of stuff that makes your stomach turn, that's what she accused him of. She said it wasn't just a bad day, it was a pattern, and she had proof. Texts, witnesses, the works, or so she claimed. The news hit like a thunderclap. Blake Lively, Hollywood's golden girl, calling out her director? People couldn't look away. Baldoni, known for his soulful roles and feel-good projects, suddenly had a shadow over him. Was he the villain she painted him to be? Or was there more to this story than met the eye? Lively's move wasn't quiet either. She went big, alleging Baldoni and his team even tried to smear her name when she spoke up. It's the kind of drama that could sink a career, especially for someone like Baldoni, who's still climbing the ladder while Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds sit comfy at the top. The stakes were sky-high from the jump, and the fallout was instant. Fans picked sides, headlines screamed, and the movie's rosy glow faded fast. What started as a simple film shoot had morphed into a legal slugfest, and that was just the beginning of the chaos. Justin Baldoni wasn't going down without a fight, and he had receipts. Just when it looked like Blake Lively's harassment claims might bury him, the director flipped the script in a way nobody expected. Days after her December 2024 bombshell hit, Baldoni fired back with a countersuit that turned heads. Defamation? That's what he called it. He didn't just deny her accusations, he came out swinging, saying Lively's story was completely false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious. This wasn't a meek apology or a PR dodge, it was a gauntlet thrown down in the middle of Hollywood's messiest ring. Baldoni's side of the story? Lively wasn't the victim here, she was the puppet master, spinning a tale to cover her own tracks. He claimed she was trying to tank his reputation to save hers, and he wasn't about to let that slide. The guy who'd built his name on heartfelt projects like 5 Feet Apart suddenly looked like a scrappy underdog ready to take on the A-list elite. His team didn't stop at words either. They hinted at evidence, real stuff that could unravel Lively's whole narrative. Full text messages, not the cherry-picked snippets she'd allegedly leaned on. Witnesses who saw a different set than the one she described. It was bold, risky, and exactly the kind of move that makes you wonder who's really telling the truth. Baldoni's camp even accused Lively and her powerhouse husband, Ryan Reynolds, of orchestrating a smear campaign to crush him after he pushed back on set. The plot thickened fast. Here's a director, still carving his place in the industry, taking on two of Hollywood's heaviest hitters. People started whispering, did Lively underestimate him? Was this her misstep, thinking he'd fold under her star power? The public ate it up, splitting into camps faster than a reality show finale. Baldoni's defiance lit a match under an already blazing scandal, and the heat was on. Lively and Reynolds, used to calling shots, now had a real fight on their hands. But what he revealed next flipped the whole game. One text could ruin it all, and Lively's team might have just slipped up big time. When Justin Baldoni said he had receipts, he wasn't bluffing. The legal battle took a wild turn when the spotlight swung to a pile of text messages that both sides claimed as their golden ticket. Lively's original complaint leaned hard on these texts. Snippets she said proved Baldoni's harassment on the It Ends With Us set. She painted a picture of a director gone rogue, crossing lines with creepy messages and shady vibes. It sounded damning, and for a minute, it looked like she had him cornered. But then Baldoni's team dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the case. They didn't just deny her version, they brought the full conversations to the table. And suddenly, everything changed. According to Baldoni's camp, Lively's texts were sliced and diced, stripped of context to fit her story. Emojis, jokes, whole threads. They say she scrubbed anything that showed a different side, like friendly banter or her own role in the exchanges. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, didn't hold back, accusing her of teaming up with a PR machine and even the New York Times to push a twisted narrative. He called it a setup, said they left out replies that made her claims look shaky. Imagine this. One message might read, "You're too close," but the full chat shows it's about a scene rehearsal, not some creepy advance. That's the kind of flip Baldoni's betting on, and it's working. Insiders say when those unedited texts hit the judge's desk, Lively's credibility took a nosedive. Fans online started digging too, with some calling her out for playing dirty. Her team scrambled, amending the lawsuit with new claims. Like others faced harassment too, but it felt desperate, like tossing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. The damage was already creeping in. Baldoni, meanwhile, stayed cool, letting the evidence do the talking. It's the kind of twist that makes you question everything you thought you knew about this fight. Was Lively banking on her star power to sell a half-truth? Did she think Baldoni wouldn't have the guts or the proof to push back? Whatever she expected, this text mess turned the tide, and now she and Reynolds were sweating. And that wasn't the only shock waiting around the corner. The judge had enough, and Baldoni's latest victory left Lively scrambling. Things were already messy, but the courtroom turned into a pressure cooker as this legal war heated up. By early 2025, Justin Baldoni wasn't just holding his own. He was racking up wins that had Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds reeling. One closed-door hearing changed everything. Baldoni's team rolled in with fresh evidence, those unedited texts and more, that punched holes in Lively's biggest claims. Insiders say the judge didn't just nod along, he leaned in, and when the gavel dropped, Baldoni scored a major point. No gag order for Lively's team, no sweeping protective measures. Her requests got shredded, and his momentum soared. It was a gut punch to the Golden Couple's defense, and you could feel the panic setting in. Judge Lyman, fed up with the circus, didn't stop there. He laid down the law to both sides. Quit fighting this thing on social media, or he'd yank the trial date forward from March 2026. That's right. This showdown, already set over a year out, could crash into their lives sooner if they didn't cool it. But here's the kicker. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, strutted out of that hearing and gave a press conference anyway, crowing about the win. Bold move, right? TMZ caught wind, reporting that Friedman's statements had jaws dropping, celebrating like the fight was already over. Was the judge mad? Maybe, but Baldoni's camp didn't care. They were riding high. Lively's team tried to spin it, telling TMZ they were pleased with the hearing, claiming they'd won some procedural point about discovery. Nice try, but the vibe screamed damage control. Every day Baldoni's side made their strategy look sharper, while Lively and Reynolds' moves started feeling like rookie flails. The trial's still a ways off, or is it? With the judge's warning hanging over them that 2026 date's looking less certain. Legal experts are buzzing too. Some say this could settle fast because Lively won't risk a $400 million loss in open court, not to mention her rep. But Baldoni? He's playing like he's got nothing to lose and everything to prove. The heat's cranking up and the stakes are climbing higher than ever. But the courtroom wasn't the only place things got messy. Ryan thought a joke could save them. Turns out, it just made things worse. February 16, 2025. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds step out together for the first time since this legal mess exploded, hitting up the SNL 50th anniversary special. Most people figured they'd lay low after the courtroom chaos, maybe skip the glitz while their rep took a beating. Nope. There they were, front and center among Hollywood's elite, acting like nothing was wrong. But the night didn't go how they hoped. Reynolds, the guy who's built a career on charm and quick wit, decided to play comedian. He cracked a lighthearted jab. Something about his wife's lawsuit, meant to brush off the drama with a laugh. Big mistake. The room went quiet, and not in a good way. Insiders spilled to TMZ that the vibe turned icy fast. Awkward stares, forced chuckles, and a whole lot of, "What was he thinking?" People weren't buying the carefree act. 3 sources close to the event told TMZ that tons of stars were flat out confused why they even showed up. Battling Baldoni in court one day, sipping champagne with legends the next. It didn't add up. And then it got worse. Word spread that big names avoided them all night. Paul McCartney reportedly chatted them up. Random, right? But others? They steered clear. Like Lively and Reynolds were radioactive. One source said they were practically the last to leave, lingering while the crowd thinned out. Ouch. Fans and critics pounced online, calling Reynolds tone-deaf and Lively delusional for thinking they could charm their way out of this. It was their first red carpet since the lawsuit dropped, and instead of resetting the narrative, they lit a match under it. Some whispered it was a PR stunt gone wrong. Show the world they're unbothered, right? Except it backfired hard. The SNL crowd wasn't just any audience. It's the industry's inner circle, and their cold shoulder spoke volumes. Hollywood's starting to pick sides, and this night showed Lively and Reynolds might not have as many allies as they thought. That flop of a joke didn't just sting. It fueled the fire that they're out of touch, maybe even desperate. And what happened next showed just how deep the damage went. Even Hollywood's biggest names couldn't decide who to back, and some just walked away. After that SNL disaster, the cracks in Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' A-list armor started showing big time. The industry's reaction wasn't what you'd expect. Nobody's rushing to their defense with hashtags or teary support posts. It's a mixed bag instead. Some stars, like Lively's co-stars from It Ends With Us, stayed quiet or dodged her calls to vouch for her story. Rumors say she begged them to back her up, but they smelled manipulation and bailed. Others, though, like a few vocal celebs, hinted at standing by her, buying into the harassment angle. Justin Baldoni's corner isn't empty either. Hassan Minhaj, who played a role in the film, called his set experience lovely, a subtle nod that's got people raising eyebrows. It's like Hollywood's holding its breath, waiting to see who comes out on top before picking a team. Then there's the Taylor Swift saga. Gossip swirled that Swift, Lively's ride-or-die bestie, was icing her out over this mess. Think about it. Swift's got kids' voices from Lively's family in her songs. That's how tight they are. But hold up. Sources close to them shut that down fast, saying their friendship's still rock solid as of March 2025. No dramatic breakup there, despite what the rumor mill churned out. Still, the real sting's hitting Lively and Reynolds where it hurts. Their careers. Whispers from insiders say projects they were locked in for are slipping away. Endorsements too, with brands getting jittery about the drama. Baldoni took a hit early on, losing gigs when Lively's claims first dropped, but now the tables have flipped. He's clawing back ground while they're losing it. The SNL snub wasn't just a bad night, it was a signal. Top dogs are distancing themselves, protecting their own brands from the fallout. It's wild to think Hollywood's golden couple could be on the ropes like this, but the wind's shifting, and it's blowing Baldoni's way. But there's one twist that nobody saw coming. From underdog to king, Baldoni's playing chess while they're stuck in checkmate. Who would have thought Justin Baldoni, the guy once on the ropes, would have Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds sweating bullets? This isn't just a comeback, it's a masterclass in flipping the game. In court, he's stacking wins like trophies. Those text messages, they didn't just dent Lively's case, they turned it into Swiss cheese. Every hearing, Baldoni's team drops another piece of evidence that makes her story wobble. Full chats, set logs, you name it. Legal insiders are buzzing that he's got her cornered. With some betting, she'll blink first and settle before this hits trial. But it's not just the law where he's winning. The court of public opinion? Baldoni's practically running it now. Social media's flooded with fans flipping sides. People who once trashed him are digging up old interviews, piecing together a pattern of Lively and Reynolds throwing their weight around. Creators are out here playing detective, and the tide's turning fast. Baldoni stayed calm through it all, leaking just enough to keep the heat on without breaking a sweat. Compare that to Lively and Reynolds, they're flailing. Her amended lawsuit? It flopped like a bad sequel. His SNL stunt? A cringe fest that's still haunting them. They're used to calling shots, but Baldoni's outmaneuvered them at every turn. He's the scrappy director who refused to bow to Hollywood's giants, and now he's got them on edge. The power shift's unreal. Reynolds, the Deadpool king, fumbling like a rookie, while Lively's charm can't mask the panic. Baldoni's not just fighting for his career, he's rewriting the narrative, proving he's no pushover. It's almost poetic, an underdog taking on the elite and making them squirm. The industry's watching, and with every move, he's leveling the field. Lively and Reynolds built their empire on influence, but Baldoni's showing that receipts and guts can topple even the shiniest crowns. So, where does this leave the golden couple now? With Baldoni holding all the cards, can Lively and Reynolds even recover? This saga's been a roller coaster. Hollywood's golden couple went from untouchable to unraveling, while Justin Baldoni, the guy they thought they'd crush, turned into their worst nightmare. He's got the wins piling up, courtroom victories, those game-changing texts, and a public that's starting to see through the gloss. Every move he's made has been calculated, turning him from a director on the rise into a force nobody saw coming. Meanwhile, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are stuck in quicksand. Her case is shaky, his charm's backfiring, and that SNL flop showed the world they're not invincible. The industry's pulling back, their projects are wobbling, and even their star power can't stop the whispers. They're not just fighting Baldoni, they're battling for their whole legacy, and right now, it's looking grim. This isn't over yet, though. That March 2026 trial date's still out there unless they settle first, and experts think they might because losing in court could cost them way more than money. But here's the crazy part. Baldoni's not backing down. He's got the momentum, the proof, and a hunger to prove he's no pawn in their game. What started as a movie shoot spiraled into a showdown that's rewriting their stories. Lively and Reynolds might have thought they could steamroll him, but Baldoni's flipped it all upside down. So, what's next? Will they dig in, risk it all, and hope for a miracle? Or will they cut their losses and pray Hollywood forgets? One thing's clear, this drama's got more twists left, and we're all here for it. Drop your take in the comments. What do you think happens when the dust settles? Can the golden couple climb out of this? Or has Baldoni already won the war?